And moving on, the fun of Big Babanki, Kijam Kiku, a village in Choba local government area, Mazam County of the Midland zone of Ambazonia, has opened up on the prevailing security situation in his FONDOM. In an exclusive interview with Mimi Metho Info, the traditional ruler regretted that armed gang atrocities in Big Babanki had reached alarming proportion, forcing him to call in the military to restore order. Well, it is interesting to read about the interview's regret of having invited the Colonial Republic Military. It is the same regret that Southern Cameroon's Amazonia regrets ever joining La Republique du Cameroon.
Well, unlike the people of Southern Cameroon, who are determined to see that the occupational forces of La Republique and all hard-coordinated institutions leave Amazonia, His Royal Highness the Fond of Babanki is not willing to force the Colonial La Republique soldiers out of his FONDOM. A comparative analysis of these atrocities committed in Big Babanki Amazonian fighters for the time they have been in that FONDOM is nothing compared to the atrocities committed by the Colonial La Republique soldiers in less than a month. As reported by Mimi Menfo Info, in 2023 alone, Amazonian fighters active in Big Babanki have killed no fewer than 6 civilians, shot a woman in the leg, and assaulted scores of women, and have also usurped the powers of the traditional authorities.
La Republique du Cameroon occupational forces on their part have killed dozens of civilians, including a nursing mother, a deaf and dumb and middle-aged man, adding to the civilian killings. The La Republique du Cameroon terrorist soldiers carried away 1 goat, 3 pigs, and too many animals that belong to the deceased. Now, this implies the La Republique du Cameroon forces have instead done more harm than good. Now, in the exchange with Mimi Mefo Info, Fon confessed that La Republique du Cameroon military is targeted at killing civilians, but unfortunately confessed that the La Republique du Cameroon military has come to stay. So, the Fon has passed to inform the Colonial La Republique du Cameroon military without the necessary powers to prevent them from killing his people.
Well, the Fon of Big Babanki, Fon Vubasig Benjamin, has acknowledged that the Colonial La Republique soldiers are targeting civilians for the kill. Well, this confession is revealed in an exchange the Fon had with Mimi Mefo Info. The Fon was responding from Yaoundé, the colonial political capital of La Republique, from where he had been ruling his FONDOM.
Well, you will recall that the Colonial La Republique du Cameroon government military invaded Big Babanki at the request of the Fon, who claimed that armed gangs were committing a lot of atrocities to his people. Well, this particular news detail we brought to you throughout last week. From June 11th, the number of human casualties is more than a dozen, with women included. The village is in chaos now. People are scared. Just as I am speaking to you, 3 people were killed a day before yesterday. One guy just sent me a picture of his uncle who was killed and burnt in his house by state forces. Now, not everyone that has been killed in Amba. Let us be honest here. It means that the military is just targeting civilians. The rate of destruction is huge. Shops are being looted. Now, this is what the Fon said. The question is, why not call off this military? When asked what is the way forward, in his response, he says the way forward is that we cannot reverse the situation at hand. He goes on to say the military has come to stay, so the way forward for us now is to work with hierarchy of the military to stabilize the situation so that the innocent civilians don't get killed or harmed anymore. Why not call them off is the question.
Well, the Fon has been ruling his FONDOM from Yaoundé and is still confident that he can manage the situation of his FONDOM from outside. He says, I have been working in Yaoundé even before I became Fon. It is not as if I ran to Yaoundé. I've been working in Yaoundé for over 30 years now, and he says he's been ruling his people. We have strong institutions in the village. I have the traditional council, the Ngumba, and other institutions that are in the village. If there's any case of military excesses, I can handle it with a military hierarchy. The population should remain calm. This is what he said. I hope he doesn't do that when it's too late, when the entire village is already empty of youths and leaving people. The Fon refused the allegations that he usurped power and became the Fon of Kejum Keko. You cannot usurp a palace because many people must come together to enthrone the Fon. The previous Fon Vuba Singh Simon Vuga II, had land problems among other problems with the villagers, which forced him to voluntarily abdicate on 3rd February 2004 and left the village. He says, I was enthroned in June 2004. On 19 January 2006, he came back to the village and wanted to take over the throne. He was lynched by the villagers. I was in Yaoundé at the time. I lamented that if I was in the village when he returned, I would have preferred that the villagers kill me and spare his life. This ugly incident happened close to 2 years after I became Fon, he said. Spare him and kill me instead. But then you watch your FONDOM, people of your FONDOM, get killed by people you brought in to protect. This is rather ironic and seemingly not very the case.